I will start the study session right now.
No, not a start.
Oh, sorry. Uh, what is it called? Isn't it called?
I guess
It is called a.
Yes, but we have to do the close.
Oh,
Don't we
okay.
have to do?
Wait,
No, no,
No.
you're right. You're
No, it
Yes,
is a
absolutely
yeah,
study
yeah.
session. You'll have the regular
right.
meeting at 7.
yes.
right. No, I'm looking for the,
Oh,
screw that.
okay.
Okay. We apologize for running a little bit late. So we're going to have a school site presentation by for Rod Kelly Elementary and Elliott Elementary School. And Principal Kathy, would you like to start first?
Good evening, Executive Cabinet. My name is Kathy Moss, and I am the new principal this year at Rod Kelly Elementary School. I'm really excited to be here. I come from a neighboring district, and I was also an assistant principal at a dual immersion school, so I'm especially excited to be here at Rod Kelly with our amazing dual immersion program, and I'm excited to build it even more than it already, into an even more exciting program than it already is. I'm also grateful to be supporting our English only program, and I think it's wonderful the way the two programs work together so well. So Rod Kelly has a lot of really fun activities I've learned over the past few months. These are just a few examples. We had College Week in October, and teachers had a chance to decorate their doors like the college that they attended. And they also got to tell the kids about their college, and kids did other activities relating to things that they might do when they graduate from high school. We also had a storybook parade. So that was on Halloween, and the kids and the teachers dressed up like their favorite characters from different stories. You can see we had Toy Story, we had The Wizard of Oz, and then the pigeon wants a hot dog. Okay, all right, so getting into our a little more detail about our school. So Rod Kelly, as of last year, had a total of enrollment of close to 700. We're a little higher than that this year. Last year, we had about 59% of our students who are socioeconomically disadvantaged. We have about 30% English learners, 87 students with disabilities, 2 foster youth, and 13 unhoused students. And so those were our totals from last year. Our school attendance rates, our chronic absenteeism rate last year was just about 14%, which is about 7 percentage points lower than the district, which is great. Our overall attendance rate is currently at about 94%, and we're working hard to keep it there and increase it. Our school CASP data last year, you can kind of see overall in 2025, approximately 47% of our students were meeting or exceeding standards in ELA on the CASP test. If you look in a little more detail, you can see that the numbers for the different grade levels, some of them have gone up, some have gone down, some have remained stable. But one of the points that I think is interesting is to look at the cohort growth. So if you look at last year, 2024's third graders, for example, you can see there's about 44% who are meeting or exceeding grade level standards. And then if you look at the rate for 2025 for the fourth graders, it's about 53%. So that's a fairly good jump. Same thing for the fourth graders from 2024, they were at 43% meeting standard or exceeding. And in fifth grade last year, they were at closer to 49%. So we are seeing increases among the individual cohorts in particular. One area that I do have some concerns about are our English learners. And so their scores have not gone up like that. Theirs have actually trended downward a bit. And so you'll see when I get to our priority actions, that's one of the actions that we are taking this year in particular. Okay, moving on to math. You can see that about 41% of our students in math are meeting or exceeding standards. And again, the scores have gone up and down a bit, but most grade levels are on an upward trend, at least somewhat, since 2023. I know we are looking into different math programs this year, and so we do have several teachers at our school piloting some new programs. So that might be something that will make some changes in the coming years. Our LPAC results, we had about 17% of our students last year who were at level 4, meaning that they're ready to reclassify. We have 22 students this year who are reclassifying, and hopefully we'll have even more at the end of the year. Okay, looking at our school climate survey, our results are pretty strong. They show a good, strong culture of high expectations. We have 83% of our parents agreeing that the teachers hold the students to high expectations. And we have 74% of students also agreeing that their teachers hold them to high expectations. And we also have 87% of our students who say that there is a caring adult, a teacher, or another adult at the school that they can talk to. Okay, next we have our Acadience screener. So this year, the Acadience screener has been replaced with a new test called the M-Class, which you've probably heard about. But last year when they were giving the Acadience screener, we had about kind of overall half of our students at or above grade level in kinder through 2nd grade, pretty consistently throughout the year, some a little higher, some a little lower. Our iReady reading and math scores, so iReady, of course, the diagnostic test that the students take at the beginning, the middle, and the end of the year. So our overall reading, if you look at the beginning of the year, we had about 21% of our students who were at or above grade level. And then by the end of the year, we had closer to 42%, and with about another third approaching grade level. In math, we had at the beginning of the year 11% at or above grade level, and then we had about 43% at or above grade level at the end. So another good jump there. All right, now going into our priority actions to impact student outcomes in 25-26. So one, and I'll go into more detail on all of these on our goals when I talk about our goals, but one of our priority actions is to have targeted small group reading and math intervention in all of our classrooms. We also have created designated ELD blocks. We're working in professional learning communities around writing and math. And we have several ways that we're working on increasing student engagement in school. All right, so goal 1 is around creating a rigorous and innovative learning spaces. So in this area, I'll start off with our targeted skills-focused small group reading and math intervention. So each of our teachers in their weekly schedule has time devoted to small group intervention. This is time when they are working with students on specific skills in small groups. And so they determine that based on different kinds of data they have from maybe iReady or from other formative, summative assessments that they give in class. We also provide the teachers with collaborative planning time, instructional release days to work on curriculum alignment and other tasks. And we have expanded our VAP opportunities this year. So we have a K-1 theater program for our kindergarten and 1st grade students. We have music for all of our 2nd grade students, an art program for 3rd grade, 4th and 5th grade PE and art. And we also have a lunchtime art club and recess support in PE. So we have our PE teacher is coordinating soccer and basketball games, things like that. We also, it's not up there, but we just had a family art night. Last week, we had over 100 parents and students attend, and they had a great time making all kinds of different art projects. And finally, we have our professional learning communities. And this is really important because one of the things that we noted on our LPAC scores was that, especially for our students at levels 3 and 4, that a lot of them struggled in the area of writing. That was one of the areas that was holding them back. And so we are really focusing on writing this year, working on it in our learning communities, and also focusing on it in our designated ELD time. All right, for goal 2, oops. Sorry about that. We're maximizing resources that provide equitable student support. So in addition to our tier 1 reading intervention and math intervention in the classrooms, we also have tier 2 and tier 3 interventions. So we have, for students who are needing a bit more support, especially in reading, we have our lit facilitator who is coordinating different reading intervention groups. She does some, and then she also coordinates our Youth Alliance tutors who are working with students on the science of reading to build their reading skills. And our assessment para also helps in that area. We also have our designated ELD blocks. So each of our grade levels has a designated time when they teach ELD, so English Language Development. At that time, the students within their grade level are, they rotate to different classrooms according to their language level so that they can get targeted support. And we have additional staff who work with the students so we can really divide them up into the groups that they need to be in. So typically at a grade level, there'll be maybe 1 or 2 groups for students who are level 1 to newcomers, that level. Then we have typically a group of students at level 3 or 4, and they're often focusing on writing in that group. And then we have English only students who are also focusing on writing during the ELD time. And then we actually have another group of English only students who are working on Spanish language development. So from our dual immersion program, so they're able to get extra support in Spanish at that time. Goal 3 is around building inclusive and safe schools. And so we have several different actions we're taking in this area this year. So one is continuing our positive recognition programs for students. We give out high fives for good behavior, effort, and following the Rod Kelly way in class and out on the playground. And students can save up their high fives, and we have a monthly high five store where they can, the parent club runs that, and they can use their high fives to buy different things. At the end of the year, a lot of the kids are saving up their high fives to attend the principal's picnic. You have to have 150 points to attend that. So I will be taking them on the picnic this year. We also have our Notable Nights, which is an award that's given out weekly or almost weekly to students for reasons determined by their teachers. We have several different ways of recognizing students for their star reading, their AR points, and that program, which they all participate in their classes. And then we just finished actually our academic awards assemblies. So we give out awards to our younger students for top reader, top mathematics, and our older students, we have honor roll and principals list. And then there's a very special award called the Endless Effort Award that students get, one chosen from each class, for always showing their best effort, never giving up, even when it's hard. So we have that special award. As far as social emotional learning, another way that we are working on building safe and inclusive schools is through our second step program that the teachers teach in their classrooms. We also have the lessons from Common Sense Media, and our partner Community Solutions offers skills streaming classes. So if a teacher is looking for some lessons for her class in a particular area, we have a list of different kind of sets of lessons that the community solutions counselor can provide depending on what the teacher needs. And so we've already done that in several classes this year. And then finally, we have all of our different mental health supports that are available. So teachers and staff are able to make mental health referrals, and I meet with our team bi-weekly, and we look at the referrals and we determine which agency we're going to refer them to, the students to. So we have a counselor from Effective School Solutions. We have another counselor from Discovery Counseling, and then we work with 2 community solutions counselors. Our community solutions counselors are also able to provide social skills groups. So we have several groups we're working on getting started right now for various reasons to help students in particular areas. All right, and so that concludes my presentation. Again, I am very excited to be the new principal at Rod Kelly, and I have had a great time getting to know everyone so far this year.
Thank you for your presentation. Board, are there any questions? Yes, Trustee Hanchu.
Thank you for your presentation. I went to a symposium recently on unhoused students in the county of Santa Clara, so it's kind of fresh on my mind. I saw on your slide that you have 13 identified. Can you speak a little bit about how you work to support those students and those families?
Yeah, so a lot of times, well, sometimes it can come from a meeting with a parent where I actually have had several parents talk to me about things that are happening in their lives. Sometimes it'll come out of an attendance question. And so we're talking to the parent about, the child's attendance. And I always try to, make them feel that we're all in this together and we're here to help them. So sometimes they're afraid when we start talking about attendance and things like that, but I try to make them feel comfortable. And so I have already this year had several parents share some things with me, and then I'm able to connect them with resources that we have through the district office, also often through community solutions. They're able to provide resources as well. So I've done that already a few times this year, and then we have some other families who are already identified as part of that program.
And just as a follow-up, do you know of the 13, are they couch surfing? Are they living in their cars? Do you have that kind of information?
With some of them, I know. Some of them, there are temporary situations going on. Some are doubled up for various reasons. A few are in more difficult situations, but the reasons vary.
Yeah. Thank you.
Any other questions? Yes, Trustee Pacino.
Thank you and for your presentation. And I know it's tough, your first year in a new district. So I appreciate the professionalism that you come with us. I'm curious, do you know in these areas that you have for your goals and your action plans, which of them are new this year or changes from last year?
Yes. So some of the targeted instruction is something that is fairly new that the teachers are working on, that to have that designated time. And I believe that they were doing some designated ELD, but we really have it coordinated this year. So it's all taking place from 8:30 to 9 for almost all the grades. And so we were able to use some of our support staff to kind of work with kids even in different grade levels if they were at the same English language level.
Thank you. And I appreciate new teachers and new admin into our district, because I always think you come in with fresh eyes and you see things through a different lens than we have. So I appreciate that. And I also appreciate coming in to a school where the admin has been established for a while. And that's also very difficult. And I look forward to you really embracing and making Rod Kelly your school.
Thank you.
Yes, Trustee Moreno.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
I came from the world of Parent Club. That's how I ended up here. How is your Parent Club there? Do you have a strong connection to the parents?
Yes.
I think we all believe that one of the most important thing is parent engagement. If you could just give us a little bit about that.
Yeah, we have a wonderful parent club. When I first got to Rod Kelly, one of the first people that reached out to me was our parent club president. And I got to, before school even started in the summer, we went out and I got to meet them and talk to them over coffee and learn all about the different activities that they plan for each year. We've already had the trunk or treat event. We have a holiday craft fair coming up, and I've already gotten to meet, I meet actually all the time. Our parent club president is at school quite frequently. And so we talk about the different activities. And this year I'm just learning about all the things that they do and just kind of experiencing each of them. And, but yes, the parent club is very active and wonderful. They have a lot of great things planned.
Yes, Trustee Pacino.
And along with that, how's your ELAC? Once upon a time, probably 10 years ago, 12 years ago, there was a huge ELAC. And of course, COVID decimated all ELACs. So how is that coming along now?
So we have a nice group for ELAC. It's, I want to work on increasing it, but we do have a definitely core group of parents who are coming. And we've been able to have a really nice presentation from our mental health and wellness coordinator. And so I think that was really nice for them to get to hear that. And so I'm just going to be working on trying to increase the numbers at that meeting.
Any other questions? Yes, Kim.
Under goal 1, where it's key actions, it says, and you spoke about this, targeted skills focused tier 1 and 2 small groups. And you said that teachers were working with 1 or 2 kids. So what's happening with the rest of the kids in the classroom?
So they're often working with maybe a group, maybe 3 or 4. It could be 1 or 2, could be 3 or 4. But at that time, a lot of times, sometimes the kids might be working on their iReady lessons. So they have their path. Each student has a path that iReady creates for them with personalized lessons. So they might be doing that. I have also seen them working on writing assignments, or they could be working in groups on projects, different things. You know, it depends on the grade level, it depends on the day, but they have independent activities that they're doing during that time.
Any other questions? Thank you very much for your report, and we look forward to seeing progress for next year.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Principal Maricela.
Okay, good evening, Dr. Munshi and Board President Fiak, board members and members of cabinet, and all our wonderful people that are here. I'm Maricela Rivera, and I'm the principal of Elliott Elementary School, and I'm here tonight to present our school plan for this year. I'm going to start off with a couple of little highlights of our school. Again, this year we did receive the PBIS award, the Platinum Status Award, because of our implementation for those positive behavior interventions and systems that really instill some of the character pillars in our students, and it teaches them how to be students at Elliott. We have a couple of pictures here highlighting we have a folkloric group at our school, and they're dancing their folkloric dance. We do also have student store, and we have, breakfast with the principal, so that's all highlighted in here. And we do sometimes have assemblies that really focus on and highlight the character pillars so that the students are seeing it all the way around, not just from me, but they're hearing it from other people as well. I'm going to start a little bit with the demographics of Elliott, which is very unique compared to Gilroy Unified School District. We usually have around 481 students. It can go up to 500 during the school year, and then it drops down, and then it goes up. About 85% of our students are low socioeconomically disadvantaged. And more than half of our students of that population are English learners. 93 students of the total enrollment are students with disabilities. And we had 3 foster youth and 24 unhoused students last year. Our attendance has improved a little bit from 22-23, but it pretty much has stayed the same, dropped a little bit last year. We still struggle with the chronic absenteeism at our school. We do have many unhoused families, and we do struggle with getting them to school. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but we do struggle a little bit in getting them to school or getting them at all. So as you can see, it's a 23% for the chronic absenteeism. Our CASP data has pretty much flatlined. For reading, we've more or less have stayed the same. However, if you look from cohort to cohort, there has been an increase of the same students year to year. It's, there's a lot of work that we're putting into this that I will talk about a little bit later, but I know that the need is there, and we are working on that this year. For math, we see about the same as last year. There was a slight decrease. There was some increase in some of the cohorts, and then some decreases with some of the cohorts. We did get an influx of a lot of newcomers last year. And newcomers are those students who are new to our country and probably speaking a different language. And usually for CASP, we do have them take the math CASP. And so we can see that a lot of them came in that fourth grade, fifth grade level. And you can tell from the data here. Our LPAC results, again, if you keep looking at level 1, those are our beginning students. And every year we have been increasing, but we also have been getting a lot of new students, as I said, that are coming in new to this country. And so our beginning levels are still increasing. And then we do see that our level 4, our well-developed ones, our numbers stay the same, but we also reclassified. So I think last year there were about 8 students that were reclassified, and so they move on, or some of them are 5th graders, and then they move on. For our school climate, about 92% of the parents agree or strongly agree that teachers hold their students with high expectations around effort and understanding. And 77% of those students strongly agree as well that their teachers hold them to high expectations. 83% of students do believe that there is a caring adult that they can talk to at school. The Acadian Screener, as you all have heard this, because I know that I'm the last SIPSA presentation, but we will no longer be using Acadians, and it was different from the beginning of the year to the end of the year. So Acadians really started with some skills, and then at the end of the year, more skills were added. So our kinder ended at about 18%, our first grade ended at about 24% proficient, and our second grade ended at 37% proficient. For iReady, if we look at the 2 bars, our overall reading at the end of the year was about 30% proficient or above, in comparison to 8% at the beginning of the year. And so we really want to see the red decrease, which we have seen it decrease, and we increase our the ones that are approaching and then the ones that are at grade level. For math, we also see a little jump to about 30% compared to 4% at the beginning of the school year. And iReady is a K-5 diagnostic, so all of kinder, all of first, second, third, fourth, and fifth will take this test. Okay. So we have priority actions that we're working on. We have many, but I listed the top 3. We know that Elliott School has having more than half of the student population being English learners. We know that they need that English language development. So this year, one of the priorities is to implement the designated and the integrated ELD across all grade levels, and really learn and use those strategies for English language learners to promote that language learning and that academic growth. So we need a lot of scaffolding for the students, and in doing so, we'll help them understand what they are learning to help better their outcomes. The second priority is professional development. We have been providing ongoing PD on scaffolding and differentiation. What does it look to scaffold in the classroom, and what does it look like to differentiate in the classroom? Because we know that our students have so many needs, the teachers need to learn that there are different strategies to help them. We are trying to strengthen our intervention strategies to meet the diverse needs of all students, and then really deepen the understanding for teachers about math. And again, we're applying those same scaffolding techniques, that English language development in math as well to help them understand the language so that they can be successful in it. Our last priority is really creating those common systems and structures and making sure that we use data. Teachers are getting used to looking at data at every staff meeting, and how we use that data is used to say, what are our next steps? What are we doing different? If your student didn't perform or didn't learn, how are we changing this so that the students can learn? We are really creating those clear classroom protocols and expectations, especially during instruction and test taking, so that we have common language. We come in, this is a test, it's just testing you on your performance. We know you will do well. Please do your best. And so we are trying to get every classroom to follow the same protocol. Teachers are walking around and monitoring students just to make sure that they're able to encourage students to continue working. And we're just aligning our system school-wide to promote that academic success. In order to help our priorities, we have some goals and some key actions. Again, we are talking about professional development given for intentional planning during release days. So teachers are planning, they are meeting with district teachers on special assignments or TOSAs that are focused on ELD, ELA, and math, and they're planning together to help create these plans for our students. They're utilizing small group instruction and that is targeted for their needs. We are really focusing on phonics because we know that many students, it's the foundational skills. If they're missing it, then they're not going to get very far. So we're really going down to the foundational skills of how to manipulate sounds and use them in words. And then we are also providing a TK. How do we, the TK is now more of the developmental. How do we teach TK students to become students and students at Elliott and students in Gilroy Unified School District? For goal 2, we are continuing our intervention plan. We have a strong intervention plan that is led by our literacy facilitator and our assessment para, and we use the Youth Alliance tutors to do some pull-out intervention in both reading and math. We are supporting English language learners, again, by giving PD for by our literacy facilitators and our district TOSAs as well, so that we could support teachers in helping our students. We provide after and before school intervention for students. And again, we are providing that consistent data analysis process so that we can continue to use that to drive our instruction. And the last goal is goal 3. We do have a big attendance campaign with our students. We motivate our students to be at school, but we also do a lot of outreach. We have consistent SART meetings, bringing in parents and asking them how can we work together with them so that they can get their child to school. We will continue our PBIS, which includes those restorative practices and really learning the character pillars. We have a wellness center on site that helps with socio-emotional regulation, and we work closely together. And we do provide those pro-social after-school activities like dance or art that we provide for our students. And again, we are bringing lots of family events to help with this as well. And that concludes my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Board, do we have any questions? Yes, Trustee Baker.
So I'm going to ask a similar question about the in-house students. I saw that you have about 25. So I'm going to phrase it a little bit differently. What do you do intentionally? So before waiting until the student has chronic absenteeism, what are you doing at your school to identify and make sure that they receive the appropriate?
We know, so we know these students and we know the families, and we provide, I have a community liaison who has many resources, and the first thing we do is really ask the community liaison to meet with them and give them any of the supports that they need. These are resources in our community that can help you. I understand that sometimes it is very difficult to get students to school, especially because they move around and they don't stay in the same spot. So we're very understanding, but we're also very encouraging, and we let parents know, like, we really want them in school. We can help you. They're better off being in school than not. So at whatever time you're bringing them, please bring them to school. So we do create those, we build relationships with them. My office staff has great relationships with all of the families as well. And again, we just provide those resources as much as we can. Mm-hmm.
Any other questions? Yes, Trustee Moreno.
Thank you. More comment than question, maybe a small question at the end. I had a chance to visit almost all the schools last year, or from January to May. And I was very impressed by your school. It is unique. There is nothing else like it. I think everybody should know that it is not like all the others. I was very impressed with all the programs you were doing. It was really, even when we were waiting to start our tour of the campus, we were getting pushed out of the room by the ELAC group that just kept coming in and coming in and coming in. So I hope you have a lot of support in the community with the parents. But I just wanted to let you know, it was identifiable, the difference, and I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Yes, Trustee Pacetto.
So several. So reasons for the chronic absenteeism, 24% is pretty high, and you have 25 families that are unhoused. Those we understand, but 24% out of 481.
Yeah.
Over 100, so.
We do have, and we have a lot of families. I have been there for 7 years. I know many of these families. There are many families that probably need their own support with the social emotional support, maybe some mental health support, which is given, but it can be given, and if they don't put forth the effort, then it gets very hard to continue. And I've done many home visits. I can tell you, one time I did a home visit and mom was laying on the floor and didn't even want to get up. Unfortunately, there are situations where it is not necessarily the children, but it is the parents that are going through things that are very difficult, and they cannot get out of them. And I can give them so many referrals to counseling, to parent helping, to Rebecca's and Community Solutions, and they won't show up. And so there is so much we can do. The only thing we can do is, I'm so happy you're here today. They come in through the office and I praise them and I say, I'm so glad you made it today. Look at, and just welcome these kids, because I have done many home visits. And like I said, this is my 7th year, so I know these families.
In my experience, kinder and first grade, because parents are the ones that get those kids to school, absenteeism is usually higher. Is that true still?
It's still, yes, it's still. However, I'm going to say that probably my unhoused are probably taking a big part of this. And it's that, you know, I call and I talk to them, and they have somebody in the hospital, and then they're taking care of somebody at home, and then they have kids and they don't go to sleep till 3 in the morning, and I can't get up, and I say, what can I do to help you? What can I do to help you? And I said, it's, if you just drop them off, we will feed them. They'll be okay. If they need a rest, they can go to my wellness center. What, please bring them. And sometimes they do, and sometimes, unfortunately, they don't.
You said you had a lot of newcomers last spring
Yes.
in 4th and 5th grade, but the CASP in 3rd grade is one that really looks like it took a hit.
Yeah, well, actually, it was in 3rd. It was in a lot, in all the grades. We were getting them in all of the grades, and I'm not making, you know, excuses, but we also had 2 brand new teachers in there as well that were learning the 3rd grade curriculum, which is difficult in itself. But yeah, I mean, I can tell you that we've gotten newcomers in every grade, but since 3rd through 5th are the ones that take the CASP, there's where we see it mostly.
Yeah, what concerned me looking at your data
Yes.
was a single digit
Yes.
at or above grade level in ELA and in some of the math. So lots of room for improvement.
And we're working on supporting teachers and helping them, again, giving them ongoing PD and giving them that support that they need.
And one of the things about using data and doing PLCs is oftentimes we as educators use what I call the red ink mindset. And it's, what did we do wrong? What do we need to improve? How about this was successful and my kids really got whatever, whether it's long division or whatever it is, or phonics, or now they're reading. So are we talking about that? Decades ago, we had a grade level of teachers who were doing phenomenal in math. They worked together and their kids were showing huge improvements, more than anybody else in the district. And we asked them to go on the road and present what they were doing. Unfortunately, that was seen as a negative and by other teachers. And I don't know how we can change that mindset, that success is a good thing and it's okay to be successful and to share it with your peers. I hope that the culture has changed at this point where that is seen as successful. And at PLCs, we're talking about success. It's not just what we didn't do and what kids didn't learn. So what are we doing well and how do we replicate that? Your intervention plan, is that different now than it has been in the past?
We are strengthening it. So we started it last year full force, and this year we are continuing, and we are including the teachers this year because they got trained and they got, you know, PD on how do I teach small group in my own classroom while other students are being pulled out. And so this year, I'm seeing, if you go to Elliott School, and everybody's invited, everybody is doing a small group, and it has grown from last year, and I see a lot of strengths now. Yes, last year we were really testing the water. They were like, I don't know how to do small groups, and I'm an upper grade teacher, and I never had to do small groups. And so now they're feeling more comfortable, and I'm hoping that this strength is really going to pay off.
And your before and after school program, how is that different this year?
Our before and after school program, well, we will be, are you talking about the power school, or are you talking just about the intervention? Intervention. Well, we will be using, I know last year we did some online after school PD through our power school, and this year we will continue it. And I'm hoping that we get more students in, and I'm hoping that we can get a lot more students in the program. I just need people. I just need more people, more teachers.
And
Yes.
you will hopefully be voting on those programs this evening.
Very good. And so looking at goal 3 globally, and holding family events, school-wide attendance incentives, what part of that is different this year than what you've done in the past?
I think this year, and going back to a question that was asked to Kathy, I have now a stronger parent club. This is the first time that my parent club is growing, and they are organizing themselves. I have them at a lot of events that we have, and they're out promoting and asking all of the parents in the community to join them. They took a survey and gave it to parents. What would you like to see? And parents are saying, we would love to come and do more events like this. We've done art. We will do a math. We will do a painting. And so I think that just them being out there and promoting it. This is my first year. I've been here for 7 years, and this is my first year that I have a strong parent club. So I'm very excited with the movement that's going on, and I'm hoping that this is really going to bring more parents in. And they're outreaching, and they're telling them, like, we need help, come and do this for our students. So their parents are listening, and they're joining. So
good job.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any other questions? I do have a comment or maybe a question. In terms of your attendance, I know that you're raising, is there anything new that you're doing this year versus last year or previous years to try to get that attendance up?
I'm still meeting with parents, and we still have, my attendance clerk and my community liaison and myself always meet with parents and ask them how we can help them. But I do campaigns at school with the students, and I announce it in their morning announcements. And every month we do an announcement and say, congratulations to these students that had 90%, right? And so we're promoting it. I have these plushies that we purchased, and we're putting them in the multi-purpose room, and I let my students know, like, I know you've noticed those. Please come to school every day. Those will be for the end of the school year, and you know how many you are. You haven't missed one day. Let's keep it up. So we're always trying new things to motivate our students, and so that's the new thing. The other thing is that we continue with our SART and our home visits, and that is a normal. And I speak to a lot of families. Like I said, I've been there, so I know many families, so I will go out there when they get there, and I'll say, what's happening? Is there anything I can do to help you? And they'll say thank you and yes, and I will, and
Well,
then
is there a common, like when you ask, what can I do to help?
Yeah.
Is there a common theme?
no, they
Or-
say, no, I just need to get myself up, or I just need to get them up, or they don't wake me up. And I say, well, you're the parent, they shouldn't be waking you up. But the common theme is always like, I'm going to try. There's this happening in my life, and I can't do this. And I think it's just my encouragement of, they are better off here at school. I'll take them off your hands. Please bring them here. They can even go to the after-school program. And I've gotten some of the unhoused students in the after-school program, which has helped.
I'm also wondering, since you're having this success with the parent engagement, is how do you maybe get parents to help these families? Like, if they need help getting the kids to school, having parents, volunteers go to the person's house, getting them
Yeah.
out of the house. So
No,
just things like that.
Yes, and believe me, we have many of our students are the big Alexander Station feeds into Elliott, and so I know a lot of families, and we do suggest, like, do you know this family? Oh, yes, I do. Oh, would you be okay if they come to school on time and they come to school every day? I think a lot of it is parents are not getting up and parents are not able to help themselves. So that is the big question. How do I do that? Being in my role, how do I get parents to change their ways when their lives, there's chaos? So.
Yeah,
I think that has always been my question. Like, how do I do this? We do everything we can, but if they do not want to do anything, that I can't do it. Right? They won't help themselves. They won't. And I can name families and I can tell you all about them, and but I'm still trying. We're still trying.
Yeah, and I appreciate that. And again, it's not anything you're not doing right.
Yes.
It's just like, what are other ways that we can think creatively? Just because it's, the child is let's say being punished, right, by not learning because of, all the trauma and things that are going on in the parent's life.
Yes.
Right? We can't really help the parent, but what can we do to help that child is kind of where we kind of need to think out of the box a little bit.
Yeah.
So thank you. Okay. Any other questions or comments? Yes.
I just wanted to pick your brain for a second. And what have you found to be the best ways to communicate to families? Are they responsive to Parent Square? Are they responsive to text messages, personal phone calls? What are you doing?
Personal phone calls and me meeting them outside. meeting them outside in the morning and meeting them outside when they get picked up. That's the best. For families at Elliott, that works better.
I think we've also found at a couple of our schools, instead of Parent Square, the old-fashioned Tuesday folder, Wednesday folder.
Yes.
We do a lot of just the mailers.
Flyers.
That's easier for parents instead of a Parent Square message. So I know Marcella does a lot of that. I also wanted to add for the SPAC, the parent engagement piece, this is the first year, at least in my 3 years being here, and I know two of you attend those meetings, where Elliott has a strong representation at SPAC. Last year, the parents came in really lost. They were frequently asking questions, even basic questions about how to do a fundraiser, who keeps the money, who gets the money. And this year, they're leading the conversation and sharing ideas about what they're doing at Elliott, and other parents are taking notes. So I have to say, it's really nice to see a much stronger representation at SPAC from Elliott. The other thing I wanted to share with the board, I know we've been talking about, and Marcella is the last one today, but chronic absenteeism, and I can share a report with the board in my weekly memo. We have over 350 4-year-olds on our campuses. And when we are looking at data for attendance and chronic absenteeism, it's TK, it's kinder. Trustee Pisano, you said kinder in first grade. It's now our 4-year-old, 5-year-olds, and our 11th and 12th graders. So it's literally bookended. So 4 and 5, understandably, I don't want to go to school today. Okay, honey, stay home, right? So you're a 4-year-old, what are you going to do? Or if you have a runny nose. And for the 11th and 12th graders, especially for our 12th graders, some of it is senioritis, right? I mean, they finished their credit, they got all their credits. I'm at school to hang out with my friends, but today I'd rather just stay home and not meet my friends. So I think that's the pattern that we are seeing with the 4 and 5-year-olds. Parents are also, when you're 4 and 5-year-old, even if they sneeze, it's like, yeah, I don't want to send my sick child to school. So I think that's where we are seeing a lot of the absenteeism. We are working with incentives. We are supporting our principals. For the parent engagement piece, we have PK. I know we used them last year. We are working really hard to see how we can engage our families. And you've heard me say this before. If the adults are not well, the children will not be well and successful. And I think that's where we as a district, but especially a school like Marcella's, we are struggling where there's a lot of resistance, not because parents don't love their children, but they just have so much trauma in their own lives, and they're just not able to get out of that mode. So we are working with our community partners. We need more resources. I wish we had more social workers, boots on the ground who would work with families, connect them with resources. And unfortunately, as you know, there's actually funding being pulled. So instead of getting more resources from the county, we are bracing ourselves to seeing funding being pulled for these very vital services that we need for our families, because you can incentivize a child and say, you'll get a prize, you go to the store and buy whatever you want. How do you incentivize an adult who has so much trauma and who's really struggling with a variety of issues? So I think that's where we are struggling. We're working, our team is working hard. But I think even as a board, when we look at advocacy, we need more resources as a district in our county. We are the southernmost district in Santa Clara. And I think we just keep pushing to see more social workers who can do home visits, who can help the parents, who can connect them with resources. So
yeah, I'm wondering also because San Isidro has a really strong promotoras group there, and maybe using them instead of social workers, right? Using the promotoras to help.
Thank you.
So Elliott and Glenview
Yes.
already get the NSU grant.
Yes.
As the board may remember, both of these schools have been identified, and they get almost $80,000 more than the other two schools for these types of services. And so both the principals, they use it in a variety of ways to engage their community, but they do get additional resources just for that reason.
And we do partner with the neighborhood safety unit and the probation department as well.
And maybe can I ask since I'm wondering how skewed the data is because of the 4 and 5-year-olds and seniors.
We can break it.
Yeah, so can we get like a Sunday report on chronic absenteeism, taking those out?
Grade level. It's very telling.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, so we are run a little late, so we don't get a break. Sorry, guys. We will start our regular session. It is 7:04. Hey, Elgwen, que necesita intérprete para la junta. This meeting is being recorded or broadcasted. Images and sounds may be captured of those attending the meeting. Yeah. Hi. Hi. And I'm sorry, Sophia. How do you pronounce your last name? Daoud. Okay, thank you.
Hi, it's a pleasure to meet you. Nice to meet you. Thank you for being here.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just gonna walk them.
Oh.
I don't have any more kids there. Every day.
You did what? I addressed the gallery. Oh, okay. I think this is the first time actually just to feel this
I know. Well, it's cold.
winter wear.
It's cold.
First time I've seen Mr. Field with pants shorts. He's dressed. First time in pants and shorts, Mr. Field. It's like, I never even winter wear.
Yeah. Like my son, he's still in short.
And I saw it. I had to share. Yeah, we'll work. That's what I was sensing.
Everybody, my name is Melanie. Ellie. Recognize for it. The bathrooms.
Okay, so we are starting our regular session and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Sophia, would you like to lead us off?
Please stand. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, can I have an approval of the agenda, please?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then we are on to the fun, exciting part where while you're all here, we'll do the recognitions.
Good evening, trustees and community members. Throughout the year, the Gilroy Unified School District and the Board of Education honors students for their academic, personal, and extracurricular achievements. Tonight, we are pleased to recognize students from 3 Gilroy Unified School District high schools, Christopher High, GECA, and Gilroy High, who have received the highest score possible on the California Assessment of Student Performance and Progress tests in English Language Arts and or mathematics and or the highest possible score on the California Science Test. It should be noted that students being recognized tonight are currently students at the 3 schools that I referenced earlier. However, they might have earned a CASP or CASP top score at a prior school. So if they have moved from middle to high school, they might be getting recognized tonight for that. Since these exams were administered during the 2024-25 school year, we will be recognizing them tonight. There are 29 students being recognized tonight, and we are so glad most of these students are here in attendance tonight. The CASP test addresses student performance in English Language Arts, literacy, mathematics, and science based on California's academic content standards. CASP assessments require students to explain how they solve problems, think critically, and write analytically. The California Science Test, or CAST, assesses students' knowledge and skills in science based on the California Next Generation Science Standards. It covers 3 main domains: life science, earth and space science, and physical science. This year, 23 students from Gilroy Unified, district-wide, received the highest possible score on the English Language Arts exam. 22 students district-wide received the highest possible score on the mathematics program. 5 students achieved highest possible score on both GASP tests, English Language Arts, as well as mathematics, and that's quite an achievement. 6 students achieved the top score on the California Science exam. This is remarkable for all of our students, so I'd like to applaud. I hope you can join me. We are so proud of each of our students that we are going to honor tonight. At this time, I'd also like to invite our principals to come to the podium and read the names of the students that we are honoring tonight. And Trustee Fayak, President Fayak, and I will hand them their certificates and shake their hands. Students, please step forward when we call your name. Can I have the principals join me, please? Okay, let's have Christopher High School students join us first.
Okay, we want to recognize the students of Christopher High School, Madison Dutra. Chase Galisaneo. Alex Hugh. Marcus Loda. Hannah McGee. Michael Procurasco. Tyler Rimpel. Boyan Rostowski. Hannah Seal. Elizabeth Soriano. And James Wilson.
Oh, so we're just handing out.
But no, this is, okay, just go stand with.
Okay, okay, got it.
Oh, friends, let's back up. Sorry. I did not go.
Okay, so for GECA, we have Christian Aguilon, Sean Colin Diep, Sukmani Kandola, Dylan Kang, Valeria Maita, Nikita Mischarikov, Julieta Olguin Correa, Jacob Ortega, Aiden Rifolo, Michael Tay, Parav Yadav, Jana Waba, congratulations, students.
And from Gilroy High School, we're really proud to recognize Einer Kai Gonzalez.
All right. Hmm? Yes. Okay, could I please have the Elliott team come up here? Come on, guys, the team is here. Come on. All right. Tonight, we are extremely pleased to honor Elliott Elementary School for their recognition by the California PBIS Coalition for their work in implementing evidence-based interventions to support all students, both academically and behaviorally. Each year, the California PBIS Coalition recognizes schools for the various levels of PBIS implementation, ranging from bronze to platinum. PBIS stands for Positive Behavior Interventions and Supports. Did I move something? Okay. In August, we were notified that Elliott received a platinum recognition, the highest possible designation by the California PBIS Coalition. This program is defined as a framework for enhancing the adoption and implementation of a continuum of evidence-based interventions to achieve academically and behaviorally important outcomes for all students. As a framework, the emphasis is on a process or approach rather than a curriculum, intervention, or practice. The idea of a continuum emphasizes how evidence or research-based behavioral practices are organized within a multi-tiered system of support, which is also called response to intervention. The relationship between academic and social behavior students' success is established and individual student success is emphasized. In short, the Elliott Lions are implementing Tier 1, 2, and 3 interventions, and there is evidence of its academic impact. Congratulations to you guys. I want to congratulate Elliott Principal Maricela Rivera and her team on this designation and compliment all of you, your staff, students, and families for working so hard within this framework. We are so proud of all of the hard work your school communities have put into this program to support our students in positive ways, and we know that this work is going to make a difference in their lives. And earlier today, you did a presentation and you outlined some of the interventions and the strategies you're going to be using this year to continue to provide support for our students. Thank you. Okay. Oh, you got it all.
At this point, you are free to leave, but we would welcome you to stay for the whole shebang. Okay, we will restart the meeting. Starting with item 4D, general public comment. We do have two general public comments. We will start with Mr. Kyle Doria and then Mr. Greg Filios.
All right. Good evening, Dr. Munshi, Board of Trustees. I would like to comment on the success of Measure A, which voters in Santa Clara County approved in the recent special election. I believe that the resolution that this board passed in support of the measure played a part in its success. And I would like to credit the board and the members of this board for introducing and championing that resolution. It was a great show of solidarity when Board President Fayak and I signed onto a joint letter in the Gilroy Dispatch, emphasizing the importance of our students' health and well-being and our shared commitment to the Gilroy community. As the GTA and the district enter into negotiations, I would like all the parties involved to remember that shared interest in the well-being of the Gilroy community, which includes students, parents, and many of our educators and their families. This is another great opportunity for all of us to demonstrate our commitment to supporting communities in our classrooms, at our school sites, and throughout Gilroy. Thank you.
Hey, you. I'm Greg Filios, and yesterday they had the Leadership Associates and ADIS Architects did a presentation on strategic vision. Leadership Associates do the strategic vision as to what they think. What they did is they did the survey of student services, and what they did is they gathered all the data, and they're gathering data now to present to the board all the information that people who responded to this to their survey of what is most important, what is a priority in student services, and also with facilities planning. Oh, Mr. Nato wasn't here. Oh, there you are. Okay, good. So facilities planning was, ADA's architects were there also with, and again, asking us what we in the public, what the parents, staff, anybody who could respond, what we thought would be best in providing the best environment as far as facilities go. And fortunately, I was so impressed yesterday with our board for asking appropriate, concerning questions. That was great. You were listening to them, you responded, and that's going to, that's going to help when they put together all this information. Again, they're taking what you have asked them, and they're looking into what you have asked them and showing your concern. I was so impressed with you guys. That was really cool. I feel very good about when the data comes back next month. There's going to be, everything is important. And what you're going to have to be doing is prioritizing, well, what is most important and what we can afford. And that's going to be, and again, and there's going to be you're going to have to make some tough decisions. But as somebody who's commenting for the public, I think I am so impressed with your care and concern and your integrity. I think you're going to do the right thing, and that's what I feel really good about. And I'm sure, and I know I'm speaking for the public, and I'm sure they feel the same way too. They know that you're going to do the right thing, and there's going to be some tough decisions that are going to be made. But we support you in your efforts, and we look forward to hearing this. I have 30 seconds. Number two, one of the things they talked about was a tagline, finding a statement that will put us together and we could all rally behind, something we can wear on our shirts, just like the change. Change is great. Okay, that's something that we worry about. Let's do something for all of Gilroy Unified School District that even those of us in the public can do. So let's work on a tagline. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Filios. We are on to item 4E, report of action taken in closed session. And let's start with the suspension expulsions in case number 2026-01. Do I have a motion?
I would like to move that wait. You want me to do like the quote? Approve the stipulated expulsion agreement for case 2026-01.
Do I have a second?
I second.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Case number 2026-02. Do I have a motion?
Yeah.
Yes.
I would like to move that we approve a stimulated expulsion agreement for case 2026-02.
Do I have a second?
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Case number 2026-03.
I moved case 2026-03, a full expulsion for that case.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Case number 2026-05.
Move to expel.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Case number 2025-37. This is a revocation of suspension of expulsion.
Move for the revocation.
Second? Do you have a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. And then case number C, under agenda item 2C, anticipated litigation, the board voted to approve a settlement agreement to resolve a student's educational claims. The motion passed 6-0 with trustees Faya, Kim, Moreno, Nelson, Piceno, and Yee Baker voting yes, and trustee Del Bono absent. And that is the end of closed session items. We are now on to item 5, student board representative. Sophia, take it away.
Good evening, board. I am representing Mount Madonna and Rod Kelly. I am the newest board member, Sophia Daoud. Our new campus has allowed us to expand programs and strengthen our school community. One major addition is the culinary program, which has quickly become a student favorite and provides valuable hands-on learning. We've also focused on building school spirit through events such as the Spirit Week, Fun Friday, Loteria, Lights on event, Senior Crowns, and our Halloween highlights. These activities have created a positive and connected environment for students and staff. Academically, we have partnered with Gavilan College to host a dual enrollment application workshop, supporting students as they explore college pathways. In addition, our PBIS Friday raffles continue to celebrate students who demonstrate the Jaguar way, being safe, responsible, and respectful. A new initiative we are excited about is our Leadership Club developed partnership with Power Cafe. Meeting on Wednesdays after school, the club will include student volunteers and staff nominated participants. Its purpose is to build leadership skills by having students help facilitate a school day activity, including morning announcements as well as after-school events. Coming up, our entire school will be taking part in tomorrow's gratitude feast in a shared lunch, bringing the community together. We're also welcoming 6th Street Art into our to collaborate with Power Cafe on a series of art workshops. Finally, we are very proud to report that we have 7 graduate students so far this year. It's been a fantastic fall at Rock Kelly. We've kicked off the season with our trunk or treat, where families decorated their cars and passed out treats, and students enjoyed games and Halloween activities. It was a great community building night full of fun and excitement. Our storybook parade brought even more magic to campuses as students and staff dressed as their favorite storybook characters and paraded around the school. The joy and creativity on display made it stand out in the moment for everyone. We also hosted a family art night that has brought students and parents together to create fall-themed art projects, including painting bookmarks and clay figures. The turnout was wonderful, and the creativity showed students it was truly impressive. Parent-teacher conferences are happening now, giving families the opportunity to meet one-on-one with the teachers to discuss our students' progress. We are incredibly proud of our hard-working students as they're working hard across reading, math, and English language development.
Well done.
Thank you for that great report. All right, now we are on to item 6, the superintendent's report.
Thank you, Sophia, for that great report. For my report, I will start with November 7th, where I attended the Traffic Safety and E-Bike Awareness Night at Elliott. This was presented by Gilroy Police Department and hosted at Elliott School. I also got to welcome Supervisor Arenas and introduce her to the community. And this was a great event because our PD has already for the past month been visiting our school sites. They have been standing by the bike racks and actually talking to students about what types of bikes they can ride starting this month. They have donated helmets. They have talked to students about safety when they're riding to school. So I do want to appreciate that effort. On November 8th, I was able to attend the Rotary Bench Assembly. As the board might remember that the daytime Rotary, the Rotary of Gilroy, has donated 100 trees, 30 benches, and books worth almost close to $50,000. We are waiting for another round of another batch of books to be delivered to all school sites. It was a great event. I learned that day that I do not know how to use a drill. So I think I was fired. So that picture that you see there, that's about the best effort I can do is keep things in place, lift benches, move them around. But in terms of using a drill, I got a big F. So that's a skill I need to improve on. Also, the picture on the right, our students at Gilroy High are already using these benches. So with the 30 benches, the Gilroy High, I think, got 3, or was it Christopher? One of the high schools got 3, and all the other schools, all our schools got 2 benches at least. And in talking with Rotary, they have said that as they continue to get more donations, they might be able to donate more benches to our schools. On November 8th, 9th, and 16th, so that same day following the Rotary event, I made my way to Gilroy High School for meal distribution. A few weeks ago, when we were still hearing about the SNAP program funding being pulled, and we were not sure whether our families would be receiving the funding or not, I was very concerned for our students and our families for weekends. As you know, our students receive free meals, breakfast and lunches during the day. And I reached out to our partners at South County Task Force and South County HEALS, who reached out to Supervisor Reynes, and she connected us with a San Jose-based nonprofit called Community Seva. And in collaboration with them, we were able to distribute over 650 meals 2 weekends ago, 300 meals last Sunday, and then we are scheduled to distribute another 300 meals this Sunday as well. This work does not happen alone. We were, and Melanie was with me, we were this Saturday and Sunday, I think from 11 till 2:33. Our staff, Ms. Mukai was there. We had student volunteers, we had staff volunteers, we had parent volunteers. It was extremely well organized. And then South County HEALS, their volunteers were there with us. Any meals that were left over were distributed to others in need in our community. So great effort, again, great partnership. And I'm extremely thankful for the work that we did with our partners. November 10th was our SPAC meeting. November 12th, I was able to attend Rod Kelly, the ELAC meeting. I've started attending some of the ELAC meetings because they're in the morning sometimes they're in the evening. So I just want to meet more families. And something that Principal Moss talked about earlier today, the 8:30 to 9 designated ELD block, I got to see that in action. So I went for the ELAC meeting, and then as I was leaving, I started visiting some of the classrooms. And suddenly this bell rang, and it just seemed like the whole campus was coming out. And I wondered what was happening. And there was a shuffle of kids all going to their different ELD classrooms. So I actually got to see that in action that day. On November 18th, I had coffee. We had the coffee with the superintendent event. We didn't have a big turnout this week, but it was also raining that morning, so we didn't know how many parents to expect. But it's always fun for me to talk to parents in that informal setting and get feedback from them, and I'm able to answer their questions or share some ideas. On November 18th, in the evening, I was able to attend Cafecito with our counselors. This is the second of 4 events that our counselors, the ACs and the counselors have put together. I was really impressed at how well it was organized and just the effort that they had put in, the activities they had planned that evening. Let's see, what else is happening? And then November 24th through 28th, students will not be at school for Thanksgiving break. That concludes my report. Thank you.
Thank you for your report, Dr. Munshi. Now we are on to item 7, the consent agenda. I would like to pull 7F for discussion. Other than that, do I have a motion?
Move approval with the exception of 7F.
Okay. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. For item 7F, can I ask why there is an additional increase for the teachers that they didn't attend the original PD? What happened there?
Yes, so we anticipated that we would have some teachers missing, and this is a mandatory training per ed code, a new training. And so we already anticipated that we might have a few absences at the professional development day, but our staff has always received really glowing reviews from Mr. Pompey. And so we wanted to bring him in instead of actually going through a longer professional development that would require many hours of staff development time. And so that's why we contracted with Mr. Pompey. And we needed the additional increase in order to provide that makeup time with Mr. Pompey.
For how many teachers?
Ms. Southland, do you have the numbers on that?
I don't have the specific for that session. We do know we had a high absence rate on our PD day. We had about 94 teachers that missed PD day, and we had about 44 classified staff that missed. We can provide you a breakdown by school if requested.
Is that unusual? That seems to be a high number.
It was very high.
Just a 10%?
Yeah, it's
more
very
than 10%?
high for our October PD day. Yeah.
Wow.
Yes, Trustee Moreno.
Yeah, I had the same question. I was a little disturbed by the idea that we're paying twice. I'm assuming that when the contract was brought to us, and I don't remember who did, I'm sure it was somebody in this room, you guys knew it wasn't going to be $5,000, $500, because it was going to have to be done again. So that I wasn't a big fan of either. Is there not a way for them to be able to qualify for the training, but perhaps view it virtually or video, like, somewhere where they didn't have to pay for a secondary set of, duplicate presentations, if it was recorded or if it was, does it have to be in person?
So we had actually asked the presenter about the recording aspect of it. It is proprietary information, and so it's not something that would be just recorded and then sent out, because then we could just reuse it every single time. However, that's a good point, and we'll keep that in mind for future professional development. We had anticipated that we may have a makeup, and we were actually looking at when we brought this contract forward back in the spring and towards the end of the school year last year in anticipation for this school year. We had actually been still waiting to hear from the state about what the PRISM training, the online training, would look like, because we were thinking, okay, we're going to present this as the mandatory training, and then we're going to see whether or not our teachers, we could just have them use the PRISM training that's online through the state of California. When you compare the two trainings, the one that's offered through the CDE that's online and walks you module by module by module versus the 1 hour training for our teachers, this is much more efficient and effective for our teachers. It's a 1 hour type training versus the now subs that we would have to pay for releasing all of these individuals to actually have, or it would eat up a significant amount of time for our teachers. So looking at that cost of it, thinking about sub-release, paying teachers to actually view this on their own time, for example, those are all also added costs that we have to consider.
Yes, Trustee Pisano.
So we have 94 teachers, correct? Did I hear that correctly?
So not for the Vince Pompey. That was our total absences of our certificated staff on the PD day. So of the high school teachers, there were about 25 teachers. There were 17 middle school and then 52 elementary across the 7 sites.
So 92, 94.
So 94 total.
And all of those teachers were absent and they have to get this training.
Not the Vince Pompey training.
Only the 17 middle school teachers and 25 high school teachers.
Secondaries.
Okay, so only secondary. So
Correct.
42 teachers.
Yes.
I think I did my math right.
I was.
So if these 42 teachers choose not to attend a second time, then what? Okay. Plan C probably needs to be in the.
Plan C would have to be a full day release. Right now, the plan is that we're going to use staff meeting time during one of our early release days to be able to actually offer the session with Mr. Pompey. So it doesn't impact the instructional day for students.
Sure.
So Plan C would be, now we have to pull you out and you're going to walk through the PRISM online modules that last longer. So, and of course, a continued follow-up at the site level between the administrator and the teachers.
I'm a little annoyed, but I've been annoyed about other things too. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a little frustrating that to hear that 94, that's a big percentage of our teaching staff did not attend a mandatory one-day training. And I'm having a hard time. These are our educators that are educating our students. And what kind of example is that setting? Yes, Trustee Nelson.
The 94 teachers were out? Okay, so 25 plus 17 plus 15 is not. 52?
Elementary. 52 elements.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah, shoot.
We shared all of the numbers, so the secondary really are impacted by the Vince Pompey training, which is, you know, Ed Code has so many requirements around our health connected and mandatory training. So we are really bound to offer those trainings. But I think it's important as we are looking at all of our school sites have shared their SIPSs, things that they're working on. Importance, you know, and we're continually looking at and how do we engage our teachers and staff to see how do we improve training. And I think able to provide input, you know, they provided input.
And I want to reiterate to Trustee Moreno's question. We were looking at waiting to see what the state would develop and provide us with PRISM training. And so then really seeing that it's a much longer walkthrough of modules versus a 1 hour presentation that covers all of the mandatory components. That's also part of why we want to ensure that we bring back Mr. Pompey, but also we were waiting to see what that looks like, thinking that, okay, well, if they miss that, then we can just offer PRISM. But then doing the cost analysis on that also shows a significant cost to the district.
Yes, Trustee Yee Baker and then Trustee Nelson.
I just have some questions regarding the absences. Whereas the mandatory, when was the mandatory training first advertised, and do we know what were some of the reasons why people were absent that day? And was that the Monday, October 13th day? No, okay.
Friday.
This was a Friday. Okay.
Our district PD release.
Okay. Was there something going on maybe that weekend that would have caused for an increase in absences? No, nothing. Okay.
Trustee Baker, our calendar is provided to staff at the beginning of the year. Those dates do not change. The calendar is negotiated, and so those dates are kind of set in stone. The 3 PD days, we only have 3 PD days in a year, and then the early release days. Everybody knows at the start of the school year when those days are, and it's a work day basically. So when 94 staff members call in, they probably called in sick. I guess HR would have the details, but typically when staff call in at the last minute, it's often a sick day or a personal necessity day.
Trustee Nelson.
That is a high number for elementary. I'm just wondering, were any of the offerings on that day a repeat?
No, so we have on that day, we had our M-class training, which is the required training for our K2. We had our scholastic writing. So those were the mandatory sessions that were either AM or PM. And then staff had choice. So we had like Magic School AI, we had Thriving University. So they had one portion of the day that was, you know, really directed by us. And then a second portion of the day where they had choice among, I think, 3 to 5 sessions. And our overall, greater than 85% satisfaction rate of great or excellent from the staff that attended and turned in a survey for those that came. I must say that we have, we've shared with principals the attendance data. We do an audit of the sign-in sheets so that we can see, are there trends? Those trends, if there's, there's some staff that have maybe missed 3 of the last 5 PD days over the last year and a half. And so principals are aware of that information, and hopefully they're having those needed conversations, or maybe looking at their school climate culture around professional development and having those conversations with staff.
Yeah, so, I understand things happen, emergencies happen, but if there's a trend, that's a problem, right? Because, as Trustee Del Bono likes to say, it's the teachers that are making the difference. So if our kids are failing, right? What are the teachers doing? And again, I think the majority of our teachers are amazing. It's these teachers that refuse to do PD that I'm having an issue with.
Really happy with the staff that were in attendance. We had really high engagement and really thoughtful participation. So we are appreciative of all of those that were participating with us that day.
Yes, Trustee Pisano.
I don't want to think this, but it appears that we have a chronic absenteeism problem with our PD. And that's an issue. Just like it is with our kids, it is with our staff as well. So I would like some information about the last 3 years attendance by high, middle, and elementary for our PD, and see if we truly do have a chronic absenteeism issue.
Can provide that. It's already rolled up in a Sunday report if requested.
Thank you.
Trustee Nelson.
That's pretty much what I was going to ask. I was going to, for the first PD day that we had this year at the beginning of the school year, I would imagine the attendance was much higher because it was the beginning of the school year. And not to excuse anything, but don't get me wrong, but some teachers will come to work dying, and then they'll use a day that is not required for them to teach to just, I'm not making an excuse. I'm just saying that what's reality. I'm gonna go away now.
Do we have about 500 teachers these days? About 5? This is 20% of our staff. 20% of our staff are not sick. Okay. 5% I can live with. 20%, I'm having a problem with that one.
So I do have a question. Are there, it is on. No, you just can't hear. Okay. What kind of, practices have we had in place when teachers do not attend professional development, and this is nothing? We do nothing. Is that what you're saying? So do we have anything that, any tools that principals use to either, I don't like to use
would you
the
like
word
to address
discipline,
that,
but.
Dr. Winslow?
Right. Yeah. What does it say in their contract, I guess?
It's a required workday. I mean, so we have several tools. I think the unique nature of this, and I want to, before I go further, I do want to give Sonia Flores and their team a lot of credit for bringing Vince Pompeo. This is an unfunded mandate from the state of California. And I do want to state that this is a 5-year mandate. So this is going to be a yearly required training by the state of California. So this won't be the first time that you see this type of agenda item. The state of California decided to roll out this training, the PRISM training. It was actually codified into law. And it's going to be something that's unique to our PD because we're trying to find relevant and engaging methods of meeting this requirement under Ed Code. The PRISM system done by the state has already crashed. It's already having major infrastructure problems. And so I give kudos to this department to find something that's actually worthwhile. And I do know that the teachers that did go to the training did report that they absolutely loved the training, felt that it was quality, it was definitely something that was worthwhile. So I do agree that there's a disappointment that if 20% of staff don't show up to something that the district proactively attempted to create to meet this mandate. You know, we didn't, it was a mandate that came to the state from us. There's a lot of tools. I don't know if it's necessarily appropriate to publicly state some of those tools because that's really a personnel issue and the principals will have to look into reasons why and how to make it up. I definitely would propose that the district approve this contract because as Director Flores mentioned, the cost of getting 50 employees to get substitutes, the interruption to student learning to try to make up this type of training, pulling those teachers out. We are hearing from our colleagues that are using the state system, which is the online version, that it's taking about 3 to 4 hours to complete the hour requirement because the system crashes, the system doesn't save the status of their training. So it's unfortunate, but we'll work with staff to address the absenteeism issue. This is coming to light significantly because you're seeing a second contract to make up what the district would have hoped the first contract could have covered should the 20% have attended the PD as required per contract.
Yes, Trustee Pisano.
As was mentioned in our public comments today, I hope that we can work together to address this and the 42 teachers that need to have this. Thank you, State of California, for another unfunded mandate. But you can run, but you can't hide. So do whatever you can to get those 42 teachers here and through that. And they're going to do it for 4 more years, unfortunately, at least.
At least, yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think this kind of just brought up the underlying issue that, or highlighted the issue of the attendance, PD attendance. So I don't think that we're against the contract. Well, we'll find out pretty soon. But then they have to do the PRISM. Yeah. But yes, I would hope that, you know, as we are doing our strategic vision and hoping the best for our students, that the teachers that have chronically been absent for PD will get on board because something is going wrong, right? We're going to take accountability for our part and we're going to put the resources where we need to as much as we can. But those teachers also need to do their part. So do I have a motion for item 7F?
Move approval of 7F.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Now we are on to item 8, monthly district cash flow update, and Ms. Nicole Babcock.
Good evening, Dr. Munchie, President Fayak, and members of the board. This evening, I'll be providing an update on the district's monthly cash flow summary, covering both our restricted and unrestricted funds. July through October reflect our actual figures, while November through June represent our best projections based on the current working budget. If you take a look at October, we started the month with a cash balance of about $53.5 million. During the month, we brought in roughly $11 million and paid out approximately $16 million in expenditures. The district is still in a strong position, ending the month of October with a healthy cash balance of almost $51 million. And there at the bottom, you will see the slide that shows you our biggest spending, which is our salary and benefits at about $12 million and 75%. This here is another way to look at that in and out of cash flow.
Thank you for the report. Are there any questions? Nope. Thank you. Okay, we are on to item 8B, new contract with Book Nook for expanded learning programs for the 2025-2026 school year, not to exceed $70,860. And this is an action item. Ms. Jean-Well Southland.
Good evening, trustees and Superintendent Munshi. This evening, we are looking for approval of a contract with Book Nook. It is a virtual high-intensity tutoring provider that will serve approximately 100 students, focusing on El Roble, Las Animas, Luigi, Rod Kelly, and Solorzano. This continues sort of our pilot approach of looking at how do we find the best tutoring for our students that we know that need that tier 2 or maybe tier 3 in an after-school program environment. The contract is not to exceed $70,860. We will only be billed for services provided. So it could be less or it could be the full amount of the contract.
Yes, Trustee Pisano.
Tell me a little bit more about what that's going to look like. So
sure. What this looks like is we will identify, probably we're looking at doing consistent grade levels across the school site so we can measure the effectiveness. We would like to focus on our 3rd, 4th, and 5th because it is a virtual tutoring option. Large charter organizations and some school districts in like Alameda and Oakland have utilized things like Book Nook and Laterra with some great success, but we really want to focus on those students in our upper grades that are 2 or more years behind on those foundational reading skills. So they will log on 2 to 3 days a week in an after-school program. This can be overseen by a certificated teacher, or if need be, a paraeducator can support that as well because there's no instruction happening from our staff. They will help the student log on. They'll work with a highly trained and often certificated tutor for that time period. It has a dashboard so that we can, at the district level and the school sites, like our LIT facilitators, our principals can log in to see the data, and that can help them make their instructional decisions during the school day to guide other small group instruction. So we've done a lot of looking, we've tried a lot of different tutoring, and we really feel like the 2 that we're bringing to you tonight are really high quality.
And where will the kids be? Will they be in their own classrooms? Will they
we'll
compiled in the 3rd grade class?
Yes, so we would bring them into one classroom, sort of like we do in our Power School model. We're hoping to offer it. Some of our students might benefit from a before school program or after school, trying to make this convenient to get as many students as we can into the program. I mean, ideally, we could scale this so that if this is successful, we could have students, you could have students at every school site, you know, sitting in a Power School classroom where they log on. We just really want to see, is this a viable option to continue with? And that's really one of the reasons why we have expanded learning dollars so that we can be innovative and provide those additional resources to students.
I appreciate you looking at viable, successful programs.
And the scalable is really important in such a large district.
And I'm just curious of other logistical things. So if a child is dependent on using the bus and it's an after-school program, how do you make those kinds of accommodations or arrangements?
Yeah, so hopefully we could help enroll those students in the Power School program so that they could stay until, you know, the end of the day, maybe when a parent could pick them up. Some of our sites like Rucker, we do have busing options that we're providing and paying through for expanded learning. So we would look, or maybe that student would be a better candidate for a before school program. Most of our sites have already identified between 1 and 4 staff members who are interested in providing these services. So we're excited. One of the challenges with prior, like we ran Sunday or traditional intervention, is teachers already have a lot on their plates, and to ask them to stay, you know, 3 to 4 days a week to do additional tutoring, it's a lot. And so taking that load of the prep off and the monitoring and all the scoring and really just helping them provide that motivation and like helping them log on the technology kind of eases that burden for teachers.
Yes, Trustee Kim.
I'm assuming, so this is online programs, and I'm assuming we have the technology.
Yes. Yes, we've
this up.
already vetted it through our IT department. Yeah. I know we're heading into the age, and BookNook is, and both Latera, which we'll talk about in a few minutes, are starting to integrate that AI, right? So we're getting into that really adaptive technology, not replacing our teachers, but really helping support and enhance that instruction in targeted ways.
Any other questions? Yes, Trustee Nelson.
So I looked at both of these, and it appeared that the program was similar to what we already have, you know, like fill in the blank for the letter.
A little bit, yes, but it's interactive. So the tutor might be guiding the student through that activity. So the student would be manipulating, maybe it's a sound letter box, you know, on their screen, and the tutor would be providing corrective feedback or just engaging in fun activities. Latera is a little bit different in that it has more of a, not gamified because that sounds like it's just going to be, you know, kids goofing around on computers, but it has a more advanced curriculum that they use online. And that's why we're trying both. One that's been around for a long time. BookNook has probably been around for 10 years. Latera is a little bit newer on the scene.
And I think BookNook has just credentialed teachers and Latera has mostly credentialed teachers.
Yes.
But they're trained.
Yes, they're highly trained. Yeah. And Latera, and both of them have the opportunities, if this works and we're able to scale it, that we could consider adding math as one of the tutoring options. But we're going to start with reading because we know if you can't read, then we are not at the gate yet.
Yes, Trustee Moreno.
How long do you need? How long is this going to go before you have results that you know which one's the way to go? Or
yeah, we're going to look at the data. So we're going to do our first session. We're hoping to launch in January if all goes well, all the training and just getting the logistical set up. But we'd like to run it till June. If we still have license available on the contract, we would look at continuing to use those licenses into our summer program and look at the data. The good thing is because both of these have a dashboard, unlike the program we used last year, we had to wait until the end of the tutoring sessions to look at the data and analyze it. This we can see in real time. So every time a student logs in, we can see what the lesson they completed and how successful or how many skills that they had mastered in that lesson. And each sort of session will run about 4 to 6 weeks, depending on the age and the need and skill need of the students. The new age of technology. I know that Director Polito has seen success with our virtual speech, and so this is just a new era that we're entering into.
I think it's smart because we do need to leverage technology, yes, right? To increase our academic proficiency. And again, because teachers are so burdened with a ton of other things, if it lightens their load, great.
Yeah, and there's only so many small group instruction that they can push into their school day before it impacts their ability to teach, you know, all their content area.
So is the idea you're going to compare the two and at the end you're going to choose one, or?
Yes,
okay.
Yes. And so then we would look at for next year bringing back the one that we felt met our needs the best and where students had the most success. And this will allow us to do so with both. We couldn't decide because they're both very highly regarded programs and the data and research behind them are equally promising.
Okay. Yes, Trustee Nelson.
Is there a reason that Solorzano is going to be serviced, but not Brownell and South Valley?
So we could. So we picked Solorzano because last year they were part of our pilot with one of our other tutoring programs. So they already sort of have those systems in place. The principal there is ready to go with that. But because I know we've specified these schools, but because we're really buying seat time, is that if we didn't fill it at these schools, we could extend it to Brownell and South Valley if we found the need to. Yeah. Ideally, if it's successful, we're also looking at the programs one program might be better for a middle school versus an elementary school. So we're really, again, in the piloting stage. And again, how do we scale this? Which one's the best and scalable across the district at a longer term?
So can I request when you bring one of them back next year?
Yes.
To provide the data?
Yes.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, so do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes. Oh, I'm sorry. Any opposed? No. Motion passes. Okay, then you are on to item C.
Yes, so we are requesting a similar request to bring high-intensity tutoring with the Latera education program, not to exceed $95,868.30. And again, we are only billed for services provided, so students in seat in session.
Any questions? Seeing none, can I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Now we are on to item D, renewal of contract with Pacific Clinics for Power School for the remainder of the 2025-2026 school year, not to exceed $241,200, and this is an action item.
Yes, again, continuing with our ability to wield our expanded learning dollars and provide services. One of the things that we piloted last year is that we had multiple providers providing behavior support. And Pacific Clinics kind of rose to the top in terms of the type of supports, the behavior supports that they were able to provide staff and push in supports to our students. And one of the things that we're doing and we're asking with our partner agencies is sometimes students have a hard time being successful in program. And so they get to take a break. And we wanted to look at the data as to why students needed to take a break, which really means they've been asked not to attend for a period of time. And we want to be able to serve students even if they're having some behavioral challenges. And oftentimes it's self-regulation or it is just frustration tolerance, things like that, that the students are having challenges with. We know it's a very long day for some of our students who maybe have come to a before school program. You've heard this evening from Principal Rivera about some of the challenges that her families are facing. And so this provides us another way to continue to expand the mental health and social emotional supports of our students. And so this would be for 4 half-time wellness coaches. They would work directly with the Power School staff. They would be seen on campus. They would be able and accessible to help de-escalate a situation versus maybe the leaders taking time away, the tension taken away from a large group of students, and hopefully to more successfully keep students in program. We're beginning to collect data this year from our program on the type of behaviors that we're seeing. Pacific Clinics will also help with that behavior collection, again, in a better effort to serve our students. We know that the social emotional needs and behavioral needs of students, we know in our classrooms is increasing, and that is just a natural support that we need in our after-school programs. So we are looking for approval of this contract for not to exceed $241,200.
Any questions? Yes, Trustee Moreno.
So the work the Pacific Clinics will do with Power School, does that information get itself back to the administration for okay.
Yeah. So
it'd be nice to have that, so then they're filled in as well. Okay.
We're hoping to link this in as part of like the MTSS work that continues. I think elementary sites do a really good job. SSTs, that student success team, is just sort of a natural part. In elementary schools, we're working, a teacher is working with the same student all day long. Principals are working with young children. They're often, you've been in school, so you see kids in office who are maybe needing that support. But our goal is through this data collection is that we'll build a better partnership between what's happening in our after-school programs with what's happening in the school day. So if a student is maybe having behaviors only in the after-school program, we can share that. Or if a student is having behaviors during the school day and not in the program because maybe they're receiving these supports, it's really helping us figure out what are those best supports for students. Yeah, we're really excited that we have partner agencies that are really looking at how can they push into our expanded learning programs, and that we have had good partnership, especially with Pacific Clinics and others that we're currently working with.
Any other questions?
Not a question, but a comment. And I absolutely agree. I think anything involving behavioral support, mental health for our students is greatly needed. As we've seen the data to support that. And when we were going through yesterday's exercise with the strategic planning, mental health was on a number of those posters. So I think it's very much in line with what we will be doing. And I'm very happy to see that we are already putting these practices in place. So thank you.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
I move to support.
Second. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, now we are on to item E, board policies revision. This is the second reading, and Dr. Munshi will present.
And this is just the second read. I think at the last board meeting, I had shared that these are revisions to CSBA, frequently 5 times a year. They send us revisions based on new legislation or revisions to meet the new requirements. So this is just a second read, and I'm requesting an approval tonight.
Are there any questions or comments? Seeing none, do I have a motion?
Move approval.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Motion passes. And then we are on to item F, approval of the Gilroy Unified School District Career Technical Education Advisory Committee. This is an action item, and Ms. Sonia Flores will present.
Good evening, trustees. Per California Ed Code and board policy, we need to appoint a CTE advisory committee to develop recommendations on the district CTE program and to serve as a liaison between the district and potential employers. Mr. Camacho Light has been overseeing a lot of the CTE programming in Gilroy Unified for the past several years. And Mr. Michael Polasic is the program administrator of work-based learning, a position that you all approved, thank you, about in the spring of 2024. Mr. Polasic is now in his second year in that role, working to build up our industry partnerships and work-based learning opportunities for students. Part of that work in applying for different grants, we have learned about really ensuring that we have this committee in place. And Mr. Polasic had actually initiated an industry leadership meeting back in the spring of last school year. And we have gotten off the ground some individuals locally from our local industry partners, thanks to Mr. Polasic's outreach. And so we would like to continue working as a formal CTE advisory committee so that we can apply for grants, really formalize a CTE program, program plan, and have these continual meetings, really working with Mr. Camacho Light as the official chair of that committee.
Yes, Trustee Pisano.
I'm really glad to see this more and more in the community and in pieces from CSBA as well as AXA, actually. CTE is a real push among communities and parents and students. You see it on media, news programs all the time. So I'm glad to see that we're ramping up ours.
Any other questions or comments? Can I ask, so who are you targeting to be on this advisory committee?
Well, initially, really, we've been working with the partners that we have here that we've already established some working relationships with. We have representatives from Gavilan College, San Jose State University, and then other local individuals that we have created contracts with, actually. So I don't know about naming every single one of them, but we've done a lot of outreach to have everybody participate and represent different industry sectors. So in the most recent meeting that we had Carpenters Union represented, we had the tech industry, and we had the Gilroy Chamber of Commerce. So we had some pretty diverse industry backgrounds represented in this meeting.
Ms. Flores, we have some staff members too.
Yes,
right? Okay,
yes,
so you
yeah,
might want to add
teachers,
that.
absolutely. Our own teachers, I thought that was a given, but thank you, Dr. Munshi. Yes, we have, of course, our teachers, CTE teachers as part of the committee as well.
Do you have any parents?
Not yet, not yet.
What about students?
Not yet, because again, this was really just first formalizing, and that's been part of it. That is the eventual goal, but first we really need to establish ourselves and get the committee established more so as an official working committee.
All right, thank you. Trustee Pacino.
I think it was you, Trustee Fiak, that gave the information that 40% of Gilroy's population is younger than 24. And we don't have much for them to do here. And so we need good paying jobs for them. Not all of them are going to go on to college. Clearly, if they're already 24, they're out in the community. And I think CTE is a very strong path for a lot of our kids. We've been real college oriented for a long time. And now that college is $60,000 a year or more, and kids are coming out with $200,000 or $250,000 in debt, the cost is not necessarily worth it to a lot of kids. And it takes them too long to crawl out of that hole if they don't have parents who are paying for that. So again, thank you.
Trustee Nelson.
There's a facility at Morgan Hill. Are you working with them? It's the carpentry facility, and they actually have welding. Do you know what I'm talking about?
I do not, but we are working with, there's like a CTE regional organization that we're working through, and there's a K16 SWP group. So we're trying to reach out to as many people who are here locally who are involved in these different groups, because those are our direct connections. But we will look into that.
I'll email you.
Well, I think with what Trustee Nelson, because we met with them a long time ago, it seems.
I went on a tour of the facility with Carol Marks.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was good.
It was. And what's exciting about them, though, is they offer internships for our students. So when we're building like we're rehabbing a building or building something new, they will work with our students as interns on the job. So that's, yeah, and paid. And that's like super exciting. So like, everything's kind of coalescing together, which makes it a really exciting time for us.
Absolutely. And I do want to say that we did send out a wide invitation for these various meetings. And so the individuals who have consistently been showing up are those who, were asking to be on this initial advisory committee, but that please know that they may have been reached out to. I would have to check with Mr. Pulasic, but my understanding is he's really worked through the K16 SWP group that meets locally.
Something you may already have learned, but the community colleges right now, there's a massive effort to really focus on CTE. And so it definitely makes sense that we're partnering with Gavilan, but, we have, 6 other community colleges within a 30-mile distance. So to whatever degree, every college is looking at focusing on different CTE pathways. So we may at some point kind of even I don't know if it's a survey, but if we're hearing that we have students who are really interested in auto tech, but maybe Gavilan doesn't have it, but De Anza has it, not to, I mean, a little, putting a little plug in, but we may want to explore and create other partnerships with other community colleges because it's a major, major focus right now. There's a lot of money being put into these community colleges to develop these CTE pathways. So, but again, you may already know this. So.
No, absolutely, and I appreciate that. I think our approach is one that is very strategic, looking at the pathways that we currently have that are strong and have a lot of student enrollment and interest currently, and really ensuring that we develop those existing pathways and then focus in on our current partnerships, but one step at a time and building out those different dual enrollment opportunities. But again, it's all piece by piece, but absolutely we'll continue to explore and expand. But again, piece by piece, and Gavilan's right in our backyard here.
Thank you. So are there any other comments or questions? Seeing none, this is an action item. Can I have a motion?
Move approval.
A second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now we're on to item 9A. New approval to apply for Career Technical Education Grant Action. Mr. Paul Nato.
Good evening, Dr. Munchie, President Fayak, members of the board. As if on cue, I would like to present an application for a Career Technical Education Grant. So GUSD has been working with the CTE grant that partners with the state and community colleges, Gavilan College, and for the development of 3 specific programs. The grant would allow the district to work with Gavilan College and potentially other colleges, Deanza, on CTE programs that would develop existing and new pathways for student development and growth. This agreement only seeks the board's approval to proceed with the application for this grant. Entertain any questions you may have.
Yes, Trustee Nelson.
Yeah, I have a few questions. So I know we had a talk yesterday about facilities and costs. We don't know exactly, but we're going to go for a bond. So we're looking at quite a bit of money, perhaps. The grants are only for $3 million for new construction and $1.5 million for modernization. Do you have any idea what it would cost? Because there is something here, a school district shall contribute the dollar amount that is equal to the amount of the grant. So at least we have to match, it's a matching thing. How much would we be out? Just wild.
Sure. So right now, what we would propose, I think the way we've idealized this is, imagine being able to do a construction project for about 66% off. The district would pony up $3 million for said project. A partnering community college such as Gavilan would also pony up $3 million. At that point, the state, with the application grant approved, would also pony up $3 million. So that would give us $9 million for a project that we can actually execute on. Say at Gilroy High School is one of the ones that we're targeting, one of the most developed already and has a direct pathway into Gavilan. So we're looking at that. So we are ideally looking at that for each application grant that we would, and that's for new construction. So this would be a new building, say, at Gilroy High. If we were to do modernization applications as well, same application, those are up to $1.5 million per. So we would be looking at residual dollars from Measure E to fund that from the district perspective. And I know Gavilan would be dipping into their bond funds as well. And then the state would make up the last third.
But that probably wouldn't cover everything.
Well, it wouldn't cover our dream list. I think what we talked about yesterday, we really wanted to develop, the plan, the ultimate plan for CTE. I think what we would end up doing is developing a staged approach. We would probably end up with $9 million and a single building and a first phase. So we would develop that. Once we got the application approved, we would develop that in conjunction with our community college partners and put together what we can afford. knowing that we have stage 2 and stage 3 coming in the years to come, hopefully with a bond approval in the coming years. That's how we would fund it moving forward. But this would actually get us up and running on the first leg. So about 9 million is what I think we can target for new construction. And then if we apply to the same grant with modernizations, and we do have modernization plans for the welding and the electrical, modifying some of the existing buildings at Gilroy High already. So it wouldn't be new construction. We'd be just modifying existing buildings to make them equipped for those programs, which is much more affordable, easy, at least in our minds, easy to accomplish. So we could probably do a few of those as well.
Also, it says the application shall give weight to include, the financial participation by industry partners. So do you have any kind of sense that other partners would jump in?
We don't. I think it's relatively early. The industry partners that I partner with regularly, and that I'm sure if you've been on any of our board tours have met many of them, are very enthusiastic about participating, helping. They're currently writing letters of support. I cannot commit to it, but I am very optimistic that I think we would have a lot more support, especially locally, for developing those programs. Our industry partners are desperate for their pipeline to be filled. HR is starving right now. So if we can develop a pipeline of trades craftsmen here and feed that industry, that's a win all the way around. And that is low-hanging fruit. And I think that's an easy sell to our partners.
Last question. Since a lot of school districts are going for CTE now, how competitive is this, and how optimistic are you that we'll get it?
Ooh, I don't know how competitive it is. I have absolutely, I'm not the right person to ask. We are working with a grant writing team that would probably be able to answer that more accurately, so I can dig in and then actually report out.
The grant writers have indicated that it is a very competitive grant. However, with our partnerships that we do have in place, and then some of these pieces, such as the CTE Advisory Committee and a CTE plan, it does make our proposal more competitive.
Phone a friend.
So you had mentioned the 1.5 million would come from Measure E if we did the
Like a modernization.
Modernization, yes. But if it's a new build, where's that $3 million coming from? Is that also coming from Measure E?
Yeah, anything that I think the district would be earmarking for this, for the CTE, would be coming out of the residuals for Measure E.
Out of our measly 7 million?
Yep.
Less than that now?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And are there any other questions, comments?
This is really exciting. It's going to create so much opportunity for our students in our community, and having my husband is actually in the trades. I didn't know much about it until, yeah, he is, and we've been very well taken care of. It's one of these career fields that there's a lot of, I think, misinformation, but I'll tell you, they know how to take care of their people. I mean, and so I'm just I've been thinking about this for actually a long time, even before I became a board member, is what can we do better and in preparing our next generation of kids and giving them multiple different opportunities, because I've never believed, even though I've worked in higher education, that going to college is good for everybody. It's just one option of many, many possible options. So this is wonderful.
Yeah,
I'm really excited. So
I think many of us on this dais have been pushing for this for a long time. And so we are so happy to see it start to come to fruition.
Yes. Decades out.
Decades.
Yeah.
Well, I move to approve. There's no more discussion.
I'll second if we're done.
Yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you. And then we are on to item B, Not as exciting. Renewal of contract with Colby Technologies for quality bidder software, not to exceed $24,000.
Took the words right out of my mouth. So just a brief reminder or a refresher for anybody that's not aware, but we utilize Colby Technologies as our software. They help us keep all of our regulatory paperwork and qualifications for our contracting vendors in order. There's a lot of compliance and a lot of review that is required annually. We utilize this software to keep that the district in compliance, and it helps us as well in our bidding processes. I won't bore you to tears over that, but that is what this is about, and we do this contract annually.
Do you want to go to C as well?
Sure, I'll just read off C. Item C is a contract with Kent Construction for the parking lot modifications at Luigi Aprea Elementary School, not to exceed $34,899. This is the tail end of the work that we did just recently, installing a walk-in fridge freezer at the Luigi Aprea. This is actually going to remove the old existing walk-in, reclaim some parking stalls, and modify the parking lot to be better equipped for the teachers to park.
Any questions on items 9B and C? Seeing none, can I get a motion, please?
Move approval for 9B and C.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. Good evening.
Okay, now we are on to item 10, board member reports. Are there any board member? Yes, Trustee Nelson.
So, haven't reported anything recently, but I do have a few updates here. So I finally was able to visit Mount Madonna High School in the new location. It was great. I did see attendance rewards, food. Never fails.
Yeah.
Kids everybody likes food. Attended the SPAC meeting. Superintendent's advisory, superintendent parent group. Today, I heard about Youth in Philanthropy group was going to be at Brownell. They were at Solorzano Tuesday and then Gilroy High School yesterday. They've just started to go to Gilroy High this year. And if the new people are interested, you can go to September 19th of 2024. There was a presentation to the board at that time. But what it is basically is it's Latino Family Foundation, and there's a pot of money, and the counselors pick some kids, and the kids come up with problems that they can solve. And then they pick a particular organization, a nonprofit, that will, they pick that, so they're gonna give money to that organization. So it could be an animal shelter, it could be just any number of things. And one of the things that came up today was homelessness. So they had about 30 kids there, either. But very thoughtful. They were very quiet. I might go to the next one. They'll be a little bit more involved, but very different. Solorzano is a little bit more talkative. Solorzano's been at it a little bit longer. Brownell's been at it for a couple of years, and as I said, Gilroy High School is just getting started. But very, very serious conversations. They'll decide in the end which organization gets the money, so it gives them some agency. Then I also stuck around. I asked the principal, can I, stick around and go to some science rooms? So I did, and it felt good again to go to some science rooms. Went into a 7th grade room and an 8th grade room. Hung out with some of the 8th graders in the back because those are my people. The same old issues. Kids are just the same. As always, they still make the same mistakes that they made when I started in 1980. You need the units. You need kilometers per hour? And they just, what do you mean? It could be inches, it could be yards, it could be liters, it could be grams. So anyway, I had fun there. I don't know whether people know, out there, whoever watches, most of us are gonna be attending this conference coming up. So that's why we're gonna have a late meeting in December. And And I want to thank Lucy for the care and feeding of the board, literally. Working behind the scenes, always very positive, takes care of spoiled people. I don't want that on my sandwich, you know, so anyway, I just wanted to shout out to.
So you're the difficult one.
I am. So I always do my emails. Okay, here's another When Harry Met Sally email, so get ready. So anyway, just want to do a shout out for Lucy, so that's it.
Any other board reports? Yes, Trustee Baker.
I was at SPAC too. I love that committee. I love hearing from all the parents and how. I know, yes, as a parent and now as a board member. So I shared earlier that I attended last Saturday. It was the Santa Clara County School Board Association. There's a new committee called the Success Committee, and it stands for Supporting Unhoused Students Through Communication, Collaboration, Education, and Solution for School Districts. So various members of board members from the county are on this committee, and so they put on this very first symposium. I think it's a symposium, but they called it Sharpening the Image, Developing the Picture for Unhoused Learners. And they brought in Assembly Member Patrick Ahrens and had some other powerful speakers. But the story that most moved me, and I don't know if anybody else knows this story, of our own Santa Clara County Superintendent, Dr. David Toston. He actually started off the event by telling his story. He actually was unhoused. He lived in a car with his mother, who was a single parent, during his high school years. I mean, it was such an inspirational story to hear how someone like him who struggled and has now become our Santa Clara County Superintendent. So anyway, I believe the group, I had to leave before the very, very end, but I believe they're going to continue this work. So as different events come up, I'll make sure to let you all know. I don't know if the communication came all the way down to all the board members, but if not, I'll make sure that you all know about it. So, and then the other exciting thing, and I'm involved kind of as a parent, Christopher High School and I believe Gilroy High School, because I saw a fundraising that they were doing. They're bringing back Senior Sober Grad Night. So parents are at both schools very engaged. In fact, I missed the planning meeting tonight because I was here. Very excited that they're going to bring that back. I understand at Christopher, the last time they did this was like 2018 or 2017. And because it's planned by parents, it's all parent run. You know, there isn't a promise every year that it's going to continue, but we're really hoping, at least at Christopher, we're trying to bring in the younger parents so that it'll continue even after this year. So excited that that's going to happen, considering what happened last year.
Other board reports? Yes, Trustee Pacino.
Well, after our discussion last week on joint use agreements with the city, I went to the Parks and Rec Commission meeting, and that whole meeting was about an hour and a half long. It was about parks, not so much recreation. They have a vacant commission seat on there, and I was sort of thinking about, my desire is recreation. But since it's not a real topic, I decided instead of applying for the commission seat, I will just attend all their meetings and make public comments. So, and the reason I'm interested in recreation, when my kids were little, now they're 38 and 41, the recreation booklet that we got was a booklet, and it's now a pamphlet. And there are very few things for our kids to do. And I found out, Alvaro's not here, I found out Gilroy Little League is giving the city money to fix, to do something with dugouts. I couldn't hear clearly. It's going to cost $150,000. I don't know that Gilroy Little League is giving them all of that money, but maybe that's the joint project. So, and it costs, so I went home, looked up their website. It costs $260 a kid to participate in T-ball for Gilroy Little League and $290 a kid to participate in softball or baseball. So that's a lot of money. You know, our families can't afford that, I don't think. If you've got 2 or 3 kids, you know, that's a lot of money. So anyway, I'm interested in the recreation part. I'll be attending meetings and I will bring back information that affects our kids.
Nelson.
I need to correct something I said at the last board meeting. I think it was something about the city maybe having not enough money in the budget. They have enough money in the budget for things. They're solvent. They're good.
Well, didn't they win that budget award? I don't know what they call it, but for a city, they like won some sort of budget award where they've been solvent for quite a few years. Yes. So I think when the city says we don't have any money, it's more of a priority, where their priorities lie versus no money. Yes, so that's a little disappointing.
I was corrected lightly, so I thought I would just bring it up. And then I checked. I said, "Yep, no, we're good. We're good."
I do have a quick report. Dr. Munshi and I attended the South County Youth Task Force meeting yesterday, and they are actually also going through a strategic planning phase. They had one for 2023 to 2026. So now they're going to do one this next year for 27 to 29. So I just kind of wanted to read off the 5 goals that they had so that the board would knows what their goals are for the last one. And what the policy team decided is they're not going to like redo everything. They're just going to like keep to the main goals, maybe add one more, but they're just because they're not quite there yet, right? Because it's an ever evolving document. So goal 1 is accessible after school opportunities and safe places for youth. So that means provide safe places for youth to gather and make positive connections with peers and caring adults, provide leadership and development activities that are pro-social, diverse, inclusive, and gender responsive. Their goal 2 is support for youth through local education systems, support youth and their families through the development of a collaborative network of services coordinated with local education systems and the communities they serve. Goal 3 is community safety, engagement, and empowerment. Engage and empower neighborhoods disproportionately affected by crime, blight, poverty, and distress so they can advocate for themselves with local leaders and law enforcement and actively participate in making positive changes in their community. Goal 4 is governance and structure. Reconnect the policy team to its mission, vision, and objectives as delineated in the South County Youth Task Force Charter. Narrow the policy team's annual focus to maximize its efforts and outcomes and make improvements to its meeting agendas that can revitalize its function as a policy-driven entity. And the last goal 5 is funding and services sustainability. Pursue ongoing funding to maintain South County Youth Task Force current and basic service levels. Measure program or community indicators that provide data to convey needs and articulate the contributions and successes of the South County Youth Task Force, which is needed to pursue additional funding opportunities. So this is a really strong, powerful group that has been around for a long time, and Gilroy Unified is one of its founding organizations. So they're doing a lot of great work in the community.
Mr. Pack, it might be a good idea. I know you present at every board meeting, you briefly describe what happened. And just for the new board members that may not know, Dr. Flores was actually one of the founding members of South County Youth Task Force. It's a multi-agency collaboration which includes Gilroy Unified School District, the City of Gilroy, Morgan Hill Unified School District, the City of Morgan Hill, Supervisor Arenas' office, probation, the DA's office, GPD, Morgan Hill PD. It's just huge. So it's not just the district. And I think the idea came about maybe even 20, 25 years ago. Again, Dr. Flores was one of the founding members. And it really was looking at how what services and supports we can provide for the youth in South County, that is Morgan Hill and Gilroy. And so the county itself is part of it, and the support they provide, services, grants, and things like that. So there's almost 20 people that attend that meeting. So there are only some members that pay. There are actually only 5 agencies that pay into the system. It is Actually, there might be only 4. It's our district, both the districts, both the school districts, and both the cities. The others are all the partners, participants that share common interests and talk about. Again, there's the strategic plan. This is being revised now. I think it's important for the board to know because I know President Fayak presents about it, but it's important for the board to know it's not just a Gilroy Unified or a City of Gilroy. This is a multi-agency collaboration and partnership focused on the youth in South County.
Speaking of youth in South County, I wanted to take a minute to thank all of our student reps and for their coming to our meetings and making their presentations. Can't be easy for them to do. Was very nervous. Yes. And she didn't know that. Well, thank you for letting her know. So anyway, just wanted to say I'm really proud of all of our student reps.
Okay. Any other board member reports? Seeing none, we will adjourn the meeting, but I need to say some words first. Are there any upcoming and new referral agenda items?
I would like to hear more about our in-house students. If we have disaggregated data, I'd like to know more about, where they're staying, what kind of interventions I heard from some of the principals. I'd like to hear if we have some kind of uniform approach to that and what more we can do to provide support, especially around the chronic absenteeism, but really making sure that our children are safe and have what they need.
And could you also please email that? Yes. Okay. And then announcements. The next regular meeting at the Board of Education will be held on Thursday, December 18th, 2025. Closed session will begin at 5:30, followed by the annual organizational meeting at 7 p.m. and the regular meeting. The agenda will be available on the district's website by 5 p.m. on Friday, December 12th. There